New basketball show. NBA tomorrow, Bucks Nets, new basketball season. Malika with us now on SportsCenter to talk about both of those things. For those of us still celebrating our favorite team's first championship in 50 years, I feel like the offseason has been too short. But we're going to start anyway. We can't slow down that. Why do I feel, though, like the Bucks and the Nets will be tied together the entire season, even after tip-off tomorrow?
Because we have to go back to that Game 7, Kevin Durant's toe on the line, and that epic showdown between the Nets and the Bucks. That felt, John, like it was the NBA Finals, even though it wasn't even the Eastern Conference Finals. And when you look at these two teams, right, it's hard to see any other Eastern Conference team at that upper echelon, at the top of the East. And so it feels like, right, they have two of the highest odds to win the NBA championship. And so they're going to be jockeying for position all season long. And beyond that, if these two teams stay healthy, this could be, I think, a rivalry for years to come. And that is exciting.
Debut of NBA Today, that was just a couple hours ago. You're at the ESPNW Summit, where you got to hang out with Halle Berry. I have seen a sunset in La Jolla. I brought my cans back to the recycling center today. Who had a better day, you or I?
I mean, those cans had to have a pretty good day, right? But I mean, I got to hang out with Halle Berry. I had a pretty good day, John.
She cool? She's got the kickboxing and the MMA stuff going on, right?
And she said that she wants to tune into NBA Today. So it's a good day. She's a big sports fan, and it was such an awesome discussion. We had so much fun.
I'm just going to address the camera here. I got $13.80 for the cans. Anyway, Commissioner Adam Silver, thank you. He's on the show tomorrow. That's your big guest. I want to know, what are the things that you want to hear from him? What are the answers you want going into the new NBA season?
Yeah, John. So Commissioner Adam Silver spoke with reporters on Monday. And one of the things that he said that I thought was so interesting when he talked about the Kyrie Irving case, where he is unvaccinated and unable to play in New York City, which we know is one of the biggest storylines heading into the season. He said that he thinks it's a little bit unfair, that it depends on which team you play for that allows whether or not you can play, because it's a city and state mandate, not an NBA mandate. But he also said that he had really hoped that the NBPA, they would have greenlit mandatory vaccines. He said the officials did it, even though that some of their members weren't exactly excited about it. And that could have been avoided. This whole situation potentially could have been avoided if that had been the case. So to me, that immediately is something that stands out. That's very interesting. Obviously, we'll be keeping a close eye on the Chicago investigation and how that continues to play out. But heading into this season, I think that Kyrie Irving and the COVID vaccines, COVID in general, and how that impacts the season, Ben Simmons, and if this sets a precedent for future superstar players, I think those are going to be three of the biggest things that Adam Silver is going to be thinking about coming into this season.
Malika Andrews, NBA Today, every weekday, 3 o'clock ESPN, and we'll be watching.
Thank the Ben Simmons situation. Here's Richard with more on Simmons' importance.
Now, look, without Simmons, the reality is you're missing a great player. One of the best players, one of the most versatile defenders in the league. On the offensive end, you're missing a 6'10" point guard. So, Chanae, let's focus on what Simmons does well.
You know, it's so easy to shade Ben Simmons based on how the playoffs went last year, but he still has real value. That's with defense, and that's also with distribution. But let's start with the defense. You ready, Richard?
Let's go.
All right, defensively, he finished second in Defensive Player of the Year voting, and this is a reason why. Like you said, did you say 6'10"? It's 6'11" in the back.
My fault.
Deflections, he's top 5 in the NBA in deflections, and what I love here is he's always present in the defensive play. This is a closeout, athletic, stays within the play, doesn't foul, and this is what gets him going. So defense is his bread and butter. Now I love this. He's switchable. He can guard anyone. But they always say play the ball, not the player, and he played the ball, got the interception, baby, and they're off and running. So defense is his bread and butter. But then let's talk a little bit about his distribution, because right there, that's exactly what Philly does. They want to get easy, fast break points. So Ben Simmons, he still has real value, even though I know it's kind of a little bit of like a Cold War metaphorically over there in Philly.
Yeah, okay. Now, look, if there is no Ben Simmons for the foreseeable future, let's take a look at how they should probably play given the talent that they have. That means that you have A big fella. That means the big fella. The guy that was second in the MVP voting behind Jokic.
Oh.
Look, he takes his time. He should touch the ball every single time.
Yes.
And look, when you don't have Ben Simmons, that means, and Ben Simmons led the NBA in fast break assists the last 2 years. So you have to play a slower, deliberate game. What does a slow, deliberate game look like? I'll show it to you. That's the big fundamental. Look, you get him the ball.
Okay.
You know you're not going to double team him. And this is against Shaq. And all he's doing is taking his time. That's what you should do. You should use the same San Antonio system. Look, give them the ball. Take your time.
Right.
Create space. And then if they come down and double, Joel Embiid can do exactly. And look at the score. 52-50 in the middle of the third.
That's halftime.
That's what you have to do if you don't have Ben Simmons and you only have Joel Embiid as your primary superstar. You have to play a slow down, more deliberate game.
Let's go, teammate.
Let's go. Good job out there, girl. Good job out there. So.
Y'all made that look good. You made that look good. Looking ahead to tomorrow, the Warriors and the Lakers open with the latest showdown between Steph and LeBron. James has a 9-7 head-to-head advantage in the regular season, but Curry's squad won 3 of their 4 finals series. The Lakers enter the season as the West favorites per Caesars with a squad that combined for a 57 All-Star selections, the most going into a season in NBA history per Elias. The Warriors have the second shortest odds to win the West and the 4th shortest to win the title. And no other team to miss the playoffs last season ranks higher than 14th in the title odds. So, the Warriors, they had somewhat of a down year last year because of injuries, but coming into this upcoming season, they had retooled their bench and expect to get Klay Thompson back at some point from injury, some point probably in the middle of the season, they're saying. So, Perk, what do you feel like the ceiling is for the Warriors this year?
The ceiling is the finals.
It's not the floor? The roof?
Yeah, right. The ceiling is the finals. And when you watch the way that the Warriors have played, even in the preseason, right? I'm a guy that you try to establish your identity from the jump. Being on the championship team, you don't take preseason for granted. And the way that Steph Curry was attacking preseason, the way that we saw Jordan Poole getting better, right? And then when you look at the others, they're playing well. They're cutting without the ball. Andre Iguodala is back at home again. And then they're always going to play defense, led by their anchor in Draymond Green. And now when you get Klay Thompson back, a guy that is shooting from the parking lot, look at Steph giving the wiggle. I'm just saying, I got the ceiling for the Warriors is going to the finals.
Before Zach goes, can you give a wiggle?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
What
do you think, Zach?
Antoine Walker would not be proud of that.
I feel sorry for his loss.
I always feel good when I agree with Perk, because I'm higher on the Warriors than usual, than most people. I think finals is absolutely their ceiling.
Interesting.
Obviously, a lot of it has to do with Klay, right? Like, we're kind of assuming an optimistic prognosis for Klay. He's missed 2 years with 2 devastating injuries. But I think last year, look, a couple of things. Plus 10 per 100 possessions with Steph and Draymond on the floor and no Wiseman. When they played Warriors basketball, they were really, really good. Guess what? They're just playing Warriors basketball this year. There's no let's feed all these young guys all infinite minutes to develop them. They're trying to win. They found more guys who can play Warriors basketball. And if Klay comes back and he's, 85% of the Klay we remember, I think this team is really, really dangerous if they can just hold the fort until then.
Do you get the sense that they view themselves as the hunters or the hunted?
I think they always view themselves as whatever the top is. I don't think Steph and Draymond have ever stopped conceiving of the Warriors as the hunted, I guess, as a team that can absolutely beat anybody on any given night as long as they're healthy.
Absolutely. Hey, Richard's cell phone's ringing. Should we answer?
No, but it's
Just kidding. All right, Zach, let's move into the Lakers. The Lakers are the betting favorites in the West and have made some big acquisitions in the offseason, and health has been a concern for the Lakers stars. Zach, what concerns you most about the Lakers heading into this season?
Honestly, it's the dumbest answer, but the fact that LeBron is second all-time in minutes played in NBA history, and 2 of his last 3 seasons have been derailed by injury. Now, you could say they were fluky injuries. Solomon Hill dove into his leg and all that. Look, we can yell and scream, and we will yell and scream about how does Russ fit? Do they have enough two-way wings? How much center is Anthony Davis going to play? Those are all real questions. The answer to all of those questions is if LeBron James and Anthony Davis are healthy at the end, those questions mean less and less and less because those 2 guys are that good. And if they're not healthy at the end, it doesn't really matter. So to me, it's that he's getting to a point. Yes, he's an Iron Man. Yes, he spends $1 million on his body. He's getting to a point where almost no basketball player has reached in terms of total minutes played. Now, a lot of them have been high-stress playoff minutes.
Well, my concerning point is the Lakers listening to the outside noise. And that's too many people saying that Anthony Davis should play the center position. I know it provides spacing on the offensive end, but the Lakers going to have to hang their hats on the defensive end. And when they're at their best on the defensive end is when they have Dwight Howard and Anthony Davis at the forward position. So I think, not getting caught up in the hype and Frank Vogel doing what he do best, and that's coach. When you look at Dwight Howard and Anthony Davis when they were together 2 years ago, they were one of the best defensive tandems in the NBA. So when I look at this Lakers team, you can't cater to Carmelo. I watched him in the preseason. People were actually picking on him. They were running pick and rolls to get the switch, and he can't guard a Paul Carsell to this day.
Did you see that?
Well, people have been picking on Carmelo Anthony for the last 5 or 6 years defensively. The bottom line is for two things, though. Number one, their defense with AD at center has been really, really good during this run, but they had better perimeter defenders around them than they have now. My question to you would be, I get what you're saying about the defense with Dwight and AD and all that. They have a new point guard now who no one is going to defend when he doesn't have the ball. How does the introduction of Russ and the spacing, does that alter your thinking at all on this?
Zach, I'm glad you got an offensive mind, but defense wins championships. We always talk about offense, but we go back and look at the Milwaukee Bucks. They shot a horrible percentage. Drew Holiday and Giannis. I know he had 50 points, but he had 17 or 19 rebounds, and he had 5 blocks. Defense win championships, Zach, not offense.
But do you know what's exciting? You know what's exciting is that we get to actually see it play out tomorrow. Tomorrow, the NBA season is back, and we will have so much more for you coming up. Right. You heard him. It is NBA Today. Welcome back here with senior insider Adrian Wojnarowski. So, Woj, you just broke some news. What's the latest on